Reclaimed is the podcast about the woman's journey of reclaiming her power through somatic work, breath work, plant medicine, and conversations. I am Kyla Gagnon, and this is Reclaimed. Hello, sweet friends. Welcome back to the conversation. I want to talk to you today about the energy of the goddess. And if you've been following my Instagram for let's say the last month, you've been really inundated with the energy of the goddess, and I'm talking a lot about it, and I'm sharing about an upcoming program that's starting in October called Her, which is about really awakening and evoking and bringing forward that inner goddess that we all have within. And I wanted to share about this today in a baseball hat because it's not about, okay, let me back this up. When I used to hear that word, when I would hear the word goddess, I would assume this, I would have the same visual come into my mind. And it was like this beautiful, like curvaceous woman in a long white flowing, almost like wasn't even a dress. It was like just this flowing fabric. And there's like this gold light around her. You know, she was a goddess, whatever that means. It's the feminine side of God, almost is what it would come to mind in visual. And the more I get to know what this means, at least for me, through the work that I do through different somatic work and embodiment work and breath work and plant work and just the energetics, it's the goddess is not at all about appearance. The goddess has nothing to do with what you look like. The goddess is a straight up energy and a sense of being. And I'm going to be really honest with you. As I record this, I am in like a 3-day portal where I feel very ungoddess like. I will just say that. And there's a bit of me that's like, should you be sharing information about goddess energy when you are feeling disconnected from it? And I think yes, because this is all part of the human journey. And so the energy of the goddess, the essence of the goddess, being a woman who is coming into her goddess energy, and this is just my teaching from what I've learned and experienced and been taught, and you will hear different renditions of what it is to be in the goddess, and it all needs to fit for you. And so if this doesn't feel right to you, that's okay. It doesn't have to. The energy of the goddess, and I run my clients through this inside of the Her program. And actually we did a little snippet of it inside of Breathe with Kyla, which used to be called The Essentials. The goddess is this part of you that is incredibly regulated. She is incredibly emotionally mature, will be the word, capable, full. And with both of those, the regulation and the emotional maturity, she is able to withhold anything and not be disrupted, not be rocked off of her 2 feet. And the word that comes through is okay. Like she's just always okay. She's not fine. That's a very different energy. Fine is feelings internally not expressed. Fine is what we say when we haven't done the work yet on the whatever the situation is that has arisen. The goddess is okay because she has moved through the emotional experience of whatever it is that happened. And so I don't want to, we won't go too deep into this, as this is one of the primary teachings inside of Her. But the reason I'm bringing it forth is, again, the doors are opening up to Breathe with Me next week. And an emotional regulation comes, at least for me, through breath work, somatic work, and proper conversation with people who are, I'll say, challenging you or me to rise up. And so emotional regulation, this looks like having an experience happen to you and not reacting out of a heightened emotion, but instead pausing, allowing yourself first and foremost to feel that emotion, letting it move through, and then responding from a place of grounded centeredness. What a lot of us do, and this goes men, women, everybody, because we've not been taught how to properly be with our emotions and our experiences, is we bottle up, we pretend we're not feeling something, we move on really quickly from that onto something else, and we don't actually let the feeling exist. And when we do that, we're actually like subconsciously telling ourself, or that part of ourself that was triggered, that the feeling isn't valid, it's not worthy, it's not important, we're not going to go there. And that's a cycle that so many of us get stuck in. And a lot of us were raised in that, right? Like, oh, get over it, move on. It's not that big of a deal. And so when we don't allow ourselves to actually process and move through a feeling that we're having, we're just continuing that looped behavior. And that will keep us very dysregulated. And it will keep us, if we're going to go back to emotional maturity, closer down the scale, away from maturity, more towards emotional immaturity, because we haven't been able to regulate and balance ourselves and then respond from a place of centeredness. We just react from a place of totally uncentered and ungrounded. What we also do in this society is we attach story or meaning to a feeling. We want to be validated. And again, I go into this a lot inside of her. We want to be validated for feeling a certain way. And so then we go into story. And then when we're in story about it, right? I feel this way because blah, 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 blah. I'm mad because Lucy said she would pick me up and she didn't pick me up and she never picks me up and she's always late, blah, 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 blah. And we go into all of this spirally story. And then we're in thinking, which is keeping us very much in our head, which is in our masculine essence. And we are no longer actually feeling that, whatever that was that we had towards Lucy. The goddess feels fully and completely. The goddess is the part of us that is most deeply connected to our emotions and our feelings, and letting them process through so that we're no longer stuck in any of those looped thoughts or patterns or behaviors that we would have carried forward from previously not expressing said emotion. So when I speak about goddess, I am not speaking about a woman in a white gown in a forest with a golden light behind her. I'm speaking about the woman who is unwavering in her ability to hold it together, and not hold it together from what we've been taught that means, which is like stuffing your emotions in, staying really rigid and really tight and pretending everything's okay and just getting through it. That's not holding it together. Holding it together, meaning she doesn't fall apart. She's not flailing everywhere. She's not getting twisted up in the storm. She's anchored 2 feet on the ground and she's totally okay, because she allows feelings to move through her. They don't get stuck and looped in, and she has a way of processing them. So this doesn't mean that she doesn't get affected by a situation. She allows herself to process that situation so that she doesn't hold on to the residual feelings around it. So the goddess is emotionally regulated. And because of that, she is emotionally very mature. And so I speak about this because we're opening the doors for 1 week only to Breathe with Kyla. Now, Breathe with Kyla, formerly known as The Essentials, is my breathwork and somatics membership. It's like a club. It's the best. And inside you have access to a whole library of practices, just as like your base. And in there you have movement practices, you have meditation practices, and you have a ton of daily breathwork practices. What you also get access to is 2 live breathwork journeys every month. And this is the meat and the potatoes of it all. 2 live breath journeys. These are 90-minute breathwork journeys. You have access to join twice a month if you can, if it feels good for you, or maybe just once might feel good for you. And you also have access to 1 monthly guest speaker who comes in to share whatever their magic is, whatever their teachings may be. And that's always such a fun way to just expand our minds and our community. And then on the topic of community, the community inside of Breathe with Kyla is next level. These women most of them have never met in person. Some of them have, but most of them haven't. And if you were to tune in to the WhatsApp community that we have, you would never know. You would assume by reading the comments and the chats that everyone's known each other for years. There's so much support in there. We've walked each other through, wow, some really high highs and some really low lows in the course of the last few years. And without a blink of an eye, the support in there is incredible. So doors are opening September 16th through 23rd. That is your window to join us. And if you have any questions, I'm going to put all of the links in the show notes. If you have any questions, you can just reach out to me. Find me on Instagram at Breathe with Kyla, or you can maybe pop me a note on my website, which is kylagagnon.com. I say website because right now I'm in the midst of transferring things over and my email is down, which is a whole other trip. And part of the reason I'm feeling a little bit disconnected from my goddess is I'm in a bit of a and that's okay. That is okay. I love you lots. Again, questions, reach out. You know where to find me. Have a beautiful day. I'm running a free event September 19th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. This is the Breathe with Kyla Foundations, and it's a perfect place for you to come if you have questions about breathwork, if you have questions about the Breathe with Kyla membership, if you're already inside the membership and you have questions about the VIP upgrade or the mastermind. This is all going to be covered inside of the event. Of course, we're going to do a breathwork practice together, just a short, sweet one. Link is in the show notes, of course. Would love to see you there. Again, September 19th, 7 p.m. Breathe with Kyla Foundations.